him up the inside. Oh, has he got it? Has he got it? Hold it. Oh, has he got it? A bit of a gapping. I think he'll come home nice and easy now. Look at that. This will be good. Right up the inside. Kids are holding the outside. Dude up the inside. Here we go. Does he hold the line? He's not giving up as well. Oh, he's giving himself a bit of a push through there. Looks like he's about to have a go at Bush. Look at him go. Oh, he's going to get him up the inside. Love it. Hold it up there. Can Devil get it? Oh, he clipped the wall. Oh, woo. Give it. Give it the hoot, Nanny. That car looks sharp, doesn't it, people?
Welcome along, everyone. Wednesday night, just clicked over 7:30, and the man we call him Mr. Hootenanny right now, he joined us from cockpit, Craig Booker with the big smile. He is the voice that's behind what you get to hear every Sunday night on the live stream of our E-Series. Thanks to Garage 16, who will be catching up very, very soon with the two gentlemen from there. But Craig, good to see you, my friend.
You too, mate. Yeah, it's been an exciting week so far, and we had another great Sunday night of racing. I made a bit of a stuff up on the stream for our viewers. I commentated the race for them, nothing to see, so they would have just heard me being a lunatic, and then didn't get to see anything.
Hey, mate, that's what it is. You know, you go with the good and the bad comes along, but we got through. You done a good commentary right through the whole series. We had a big first major title, the New Zealand Grand Prix, and, of course, the King Country Champs all raced at the small little bank track of Kiki. We had a good turnout. 16 drivers, I think, from memory. Maybe one or two didn't quite show up. Could be the old Rona or something like that going on, but we got in there and we did it for 15 lappers and a big feature, and that was a bit extended, the feature, but, mate, we all had fun.
Oh, absolutely, mate. It was a very good night's race, and some of the racing we've had so far has been really good. I mean, like the side by side stuff and everything. Everyone's driving really well. You know, it's been fantastic. So yeah, I hope people are still enjoying it, and I hope they still keep tuning in with us. And yeah, we'll keep running and keep going, and mate, it'll be all good. But I might change the subject a bit here quickly, mate. Yes. In the out there in the racing world, when someone needs help, we all band together and we help them out. And there's a member of our community that needs help at the moment. A lot of people will know Tank from the online racing, and he needs help with his daughter, who has been diagnosed with a pretty bad cancer. And there's a page out there that we'd like everyone to try and help and support. We're supporting him. He's the one guy. If you needed $10 and it was his last $10, he'd give it to you. And we'd just like to band around him as a community and help him out and show him some support, eh?
Oh, totally, 100%, especially when it affects a friend of our community. We're a community that gathers around our own community members, and we look after them through these tough times. Brad Wright is... people may know him as his lovely sister, wrote a good write-up on the Give a Little page. It expresses and it talks about what they've been through, not only of the recent, but also in the past. It's a nice, lovely story. It is very touching, and we'd love to see you give a donation because where she is currently in Auckland traveling, and we know the gas prices. Every little bit is going to help Brad and his new wife. He just got married recently too,
yes,
and
you know was happy. Too,
yeah, he was happy with that. He'll give you his last $10, as you said, Books, and we're just thinking of our mate at this time.
Yeah, we have the link on the screen there, and also you can find the link in the above what you're watching here. There's a link to support her page. Listen, it's good how people do band together, and they do need the help, and I just want to help them. And
awesome, mate.
Like we're a family at Cockpit, mate, and we all help each other, just like in the real Speedway world where when someone gets injured or something, we all band together and help them. So it's pretty much the same. So if you feel like you want to help, have a read of that. Go and see the Give a Little for Nakyia's fight. We have it there for you. Go and see it and check it out. And if you feel like you want to help, and we'd appreciate anyone that helps them out as well. So
Brad and the family would just like to acknowledge all of those people who have given kindly since the Give a Little pages. You'd be appreciative of this, and I can imagine the emotions going through Brad, which is understandable at the moment as well. So do help out. And talking of helping out, the next two guys who are joining us have helped our cockpit majorly. They've helped us out with delivering the show on a Wednesday, and technology-wise. We've spoken to them a little while back as well, and they've also supported us with the online racing as well.
Yeah, okay, well, we'll play a little thing for you people, and then we'll bring in Aaron and Vince. They're a couple of hard case characters. So Hot Beef Fire, as soon as we finish with Aaron and Vince, then we'll get Kerry on as well, people after that. So thanks for sticking with us, and here we go.
16 Sport, a new platform for Speedway fans. Hundreds of videos, the latest action on demand and free to view. Plus, the Speedway show, Dishing the Dirt. Check out the pay-per-view section for upcoming live streams. Browse Speedway merch and other awesome items in the online shop. Join G16 Nation. Scroll through your newsfeed, post photos and videos, join groups and connect with the Dirt community. Visit g16sports.co.nz today.
As you say, we can see the gentlemen up there. Look at them, aren't they? Handsome looking bunch, eh? Garrett 16, Vince and Aaron. Good to see you too. Look. Oh, mate. Good to see you. Good to see you. How you been?
Pretty good.
Yeah,
not too bad at all.
Thanks for having us again.
Yeah, again.
That's awesome. I won't ask you if you've been keeping out of trouble, because you guys have trouble in your middle name. When we see you at the tracks, you have trouble there, you have fun, and that's the main thing. That's what Garrett 16 delivers when you're out and about doing what you do.
Yep, absolutely.
Yeah. I suppose before we move on with this, just going back to the sad story about Nakyia, where, as you said, it's a community, and it's horrible to hear that sort of thing. So we want to kick off the ball with the Give a Little page, $50.
50.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Thanks, guys. Brad would really appreciate it too. So
I think we can go. I think we can go at least another 50.
Another 50.
Yeah,
Cool.
Awesome.
50 each. There we go.
But then,
$50 each.
But then, because I'm better than Aaron, we should do another 50.
Right, so there it is. That's 150 to the Give a Little page cause, and we wish them all the best, and hope that things change for the better soon.
Yeah, awesome. Appreciate that.
Another great support from the Garage 16 guys, Kins?
Yeah, totally. Brad and his family are alternating the roles up there with the young lady at the stage. So, yeah, we do appreciate that. All right, let's get down to biz, because we've got a guest who's just waiting there in the green room, kicking back and ready to be interviewed. But firstly, Aaron, you bought you a new toy. What's going on there, mate? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so I guess cat's out of the bag a little bit. I bought the 16W off Everly Motorsport down here in Wellington. And they've been absolutely fantastic, because they've been helping me do everything, because I know nothing. So Garage 16 is actually creating a little bit of a backstory with this. It's basically the couch potato armchair critic gets off his butt and goes and has a go. And that just so happens to be at Waikaraka Park on Saturday night. So,
better tune in for that one.
So, Vince, are you going to get to have a drive one day, mate?
Mate, I have nothing to do with this. He asked me about it. He's like, we should buy a modified. And I was like, there's no we in this at all. Like, if you want to do that, that's totally you. Don't even put a branding on it. It's nothing to do with us. So I'm staying out of it.
With his wife there, Vince, if you were there with him.
Yeah. We won't go into that in case she's watching.
Yeah. So let's talk about NZDTR then. That's what we're really here for.
Yeah, let's talk about this. Look, this magazine's been around for 20 plus years, 25, 26 years, started way back in 86. Linda Carriga, and everyone knows the Carriga chassis from many years in the A-grade, stock cars, everything like that. A great magazine. They kept everyone in touch. Speedway also had a bit of a touch there from so many others who imported so much. We got viewers who actually watch our show who have had input to this magazine. It's got a great history. And you two gentlemen, Garage 16, have acquired it in the new owners.
Oh, appreciate it, mate. Appreciate it.
Yeah. It is a really, really cool thing. And Leanne and Chris that have run it for the last couple of years.
Yeah.
Big shout out to them. And just really stoked they trusted in us to to take it over. I was involved in the early stages of getting things going, but to be honest with you, as much as I give this bloke as much crap as I possibly can, I'll certainly give it to him over the last couple of weeks that putting everything together for that's been a big deal, and it's something for all the Speedway fans to look forward to.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to seeing how this all rolls out as well. And it's just on the way that we keep in touch. There's all these different worlds. They do a digital platform with the magazine. What's the deal there?
Not yet.
Oh, there's no
Not
digital
yet.
platform just yet.
Okay.
We're going to get some feedback about certain things because obviously we don't want to just charge in and change everything. That's definitely not what we want to do. It's as you said, it's a lot of history behind the magazine, and the readers are quite traditional, and we don't want to mess with that and ruin it. We only want to make sure that any changes that are made are the ones that the Speedway in New Zealand actually wants. So digital is definitely on the cards, but that does not mean getting rid of the actual publication. So we're going to keep that because that's just awesome, and we want to keep it. Yeah.
Everyone seems to grab it from the local bookstore, even at the local gas station. You know, if you're filling up your gas, if you've got a little bit of money left, not many do these days. They might have a bit of change there to buy a Dirt Track magazine. Congratulations to you two gentlemen. It's always a pleasure to see you on the track side there, Aaron. Sorry if I get in your way, mate. It's just one of those things. But, mate, I've got to say you've developed and progressed well since the modified series. You're progressing well. So good on you. And all the best going forward. Good luck in Auckland on the weekend, mate. Hope things go well for you, eh?
Yeah, thanks. And I'm sure if it doesn't, this one will be there to capture it on camera for all of you guys to watch.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
And we
really
appreciate
your support too,
Yeah.
guys, from Cockpit.
Oh, no, we love being involved with Cockpit Racing. You guys are awesome.
Yeah,
it's good fun.
Just to be involved with guys that are so passionate about this sort of stuff and doing it for all the right reasons. It's great to be, with you guys. So thank you.
Yeah, cool.
Cheers,
Dave Thomas, I'll just get this quickly in there. Dave Thomas is a regular viewer from Matamata. I've got every single issue of NZDTR ever since it came out. You got to have a hard copy. He's staunch on the hard copy. So there you go, Dave. Thanks, you two gentlemen. Take care. Keep up the fun times and keep up the broadcasting and all the best. Yeah, that's the one.
Yes, guys.
See you later.
Okay, we'll bring in. We'll do a quick thing and see if we can bring in Kerry, shall we? Thanks, guys.
Cheers, guys. Thank you. Well, as mentioned too, catching up with those two gentlemen from Garage 16 and just a brief chat with Mr. Craig Booker before as well. As you can see already, Dave Thomas has put into the chat here. Welcome, Captain Kerry Remnant. Hey, Kerry, mate, how you going?
Hey, good. Yourself?
Yeah, good. Hey, thank you for taking time out to join us on the show. We had your good mate on last Wednesday, and at least he, I know you've got a laptop, mate. He had a phone that went bloody flat, so we can give him a bit of slack about that, but he's on here watching. But how you going there? Everything's all going good?
Yeah, good. Bit of a mad panic to get home. I was doing a clutch replacement on the truck at bloody 6:30, so I made it in time.
Good on you, mate. Hey, yeah, thank you once again for joining us here as well. And let's get right down to it, mate. Everyone's seen the video back in the day, the old Bay Park day with you on top of the building. You had a bit of a hairdo going on there and everything. Was that your introduction to Speedway? Is that how it all happened, or were you running around the circuit before then?
No, obviously, I was trying to think about it before, actually. Probably 8, 9, 10 years old. The family got associated with stock cars, so we had a couple of old cars around home here and sort of grew up around it. And in the early days, we raced parents and that raced out of Bay Park. And then later on, they sort of realised that the old man wasn't really a driver. So we had a few different guys driving, like Darren Dodge and Craig Caddy and Danny O'Sullivan, and they all had to go. But we sort of spent a lot of years at Rotorua. I don't really know how that came about.
Mm-hmm.
I was only a young fellow running around the terraces at Rotorua, the likes of all the Hunter clan and Paul Hickey and the Oars, and just it's funny when you see now, you're like, we used to race on the bank.
Yeah.
And then sort of later on, probably in the early 90s, Craig Pearce ended up driving for Mum and Dad. He shifted from Taranaki up to Bay Park. Actually, I've got to grab a couple of photos just so
awesome, mate.
Might actually make sense to some people. So when this way.
Yeah.
Wrong way.
Go. But that's the one. Yeah, you're onto it right there. Yeah.
So when Craig turned up in Tauranga, he sort of started driving that for my folks. They owned that car, and that was the That was a car that he took to 93 in the New Zealand's that he had a run off with Piercy, with Kevin Free, sorry.
Kevin Free, yeah.
Yep. And then, wrong way, it's all backwards.
Yeah, I remember that one. Yeah.
Into that one.
The runoff car, yep.
Yep. And then they, in Tauranga here.
Yeah, remember that one too.
They booked that one. And that's sort of, about the time I sort of got involved, I was sort of probably 17, 18. Sort of stopped bloody playing rugby and drinking piss and sort of started to follow Speedway a bit more.
Yeah.
And then that's the same car, but sort of that was my colours, well, the colours we went with. You see it was number 9 and we kept having to change it to 19 because there was always 9s every side. I share drove that with Craig Kerry. That was about 95, 96 season. And then
work it.
And then we only had that for, I did about 13 meetings I did in that, and then we bought the old flat chassis, which that's where I sort of probably took off. Everyone knows I had that for 4 years, and the last year I had it was white. So but
that particular car you got there, Kerry, that one. Tell us a bit of history behind that.
So that's obviously the same colours as the previous car, but
yes,
we had leftover paint, and we'd actually painted our tow wagon the same colour, so we had to paint the next car the same, so it all tied in. That's Darren Gray's.
Yeah, I thought so.
Flat chassis was the 15W, and you got 3 NZ in that as well. So we bought that about 95. So we sold the previous car to Mark Dixon in Stratford. Yeah, and we got this just sort of tied up my family. So
just talking about that car in particular, I can see there's a couple of letters on there, Kerry. What's the deal there? Is it MR? Yeah.
So that's after Bay Park closed. There was association with the previous car, or you can make out down the bottom. There's a little KM. KM. So we went when Bay Park closed, we went Kiki Mount, and then sort of that
Mount Rotorua.
We ended up Rotorua, so we went MR the following season, and then I don't know. We sort of and after that we ended up at Huntly actually for about 4 years. So
we're going to talk about that a bit down the track, some of the travels and some of the tracks that you race with, especially for those who are watching, familiar with you with racing so many teams over your massive years of racing teams. But I just want to go back to that old Bay Park where you started as a kid, and of course you ran around Rotorua. I'm guessing you ran around your gumboots chasing after the hot dogs, pretending your little race cars are making all the noise in the world. Go back to Bay Park. When I caught up with your good mate Ross Ashby, he made mention he did the street stock stuff. I think when we caught up yesterday, you've done a few laps at the old Bay Park.
Yeah, so I think probably where I first met Horse was actually I did a lot of demo derbies back in the day when, and that's where I first met Horse and his mate Garth. We actually did some demo derbies together at Bay Park. So, and how I sort of started, probably the two guys in my early days that I looked up to was Mark Dickey and Craig Pearce, because I learned a lot from them. And Mark's car used to live at my work at Herb's Vicar Repairs, and I did a lot of work on it. So I ended up having, even though my parents owned the other car, I actually ended up having a few drives in Mark's car on the old Bay Park in about 94. And I drove his car before I drove my bloody parents' one. And then later on, I had a few skids in the other one when Craig was, when it was a nothing meeting or something. So that pick where I was actually on the toilet, I'd already sort of started racing by then, but sort of no one probably put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, seems to be quite a common pick that pops out every time someone reminisces on one of those VHS videos. It came to an end of that era, what Bay Park had produced over those decades around the oval track. There's some big names and some great memories. We can sit and talk about memories as kids growing up at that place. Then, of course, you moved on, went into Kiki, did a bit of racing there. You had to with a KM. And how was that? What was that like? You're thinking, well, leaving where it all started, family and everything, and got to go down the road just a little bit and try and do something there.
Yeah, it was just, we just sort of went with the flow, obviously the Mount closed back then in 95, and everyone, that was seen to be the general census. Everyone was going to Kiki, so hence the KM. And I don't think we ran over there much. Obviously, I was share driving the car with Craig Caddy. I think I did 13 meetings and he did 5 or something like that. So I got majority of the drives. And then, like I say, we ended up selling that car and, went from there with a flat chassis.
Then up to Rotorua after that, eh? Throw a bit of a MR on there.
MR on there for a little bit, but we sort of, it was early days. I can't really remember too much of it. We just, we picked and chose our meetings and sort of, we didn't get a lot of recognition or just, I think probably because we had the M on there, even though we had MR, but because we had the M on there, we sort of were left out of the picture a fair bit. So hence the reason we went to Huntley and what was my first teams race? Did I have an MR on there? I can't remember. It was at Rotorua, the first teams race. It was probably had a H on actually.
You've raced with that many teams and had so many letters. I
guess 97. Obviously, I just started Palms and North in 97, but back in the day we used to do Rotorua Teams Classic, and that was in January. I raced there. My first teams race was North Island Selection.
We'll talk about that. We've got a lot to talk about when it comes to teams, because I've got this massive book here, Teams Champs, the second edition, the first 40 years, and I've got the other one here as well, the Superstock Champs one. Just firstly, Cody Turnbridge. Hey, mate, thank you for tuning in and watching, Cody. Hope things are all going good for you down there in Taranaki. Carl Carpendale. Hey, team. Always good to see you, Carl. I know you're a regular viewer. Richie Neckwater, Bloody Legends, G16 for their donation. Good to catch up with the boys, and we'll share some of that. You'll see it scrolling down the bottom to give a little page that myself and Craig Booker spoke on as well. As mentioned earlier on as well, Dave Thomas, who's got nearly every issue of the NZDTR. Shane Hawkins, who joins us. Make sure you go and sign up the G16 Nation if you haven't already. So make sure you do jump on board with that. Alison Tiwani's on board watching as well. Dave Thomas says, thanks for the prizes. That's all good, mate. It's all good. And Scott Honeybone, he's always jumping in there and says, evening, Kerry, and to everyone that's in the show as well. Good to have you on board, Scott, mate. Awesome pictures you shared with us of your early cars. There's a lot of good memories of that, the old 3NZ down the line. I remember being there watching the 1, 2, 3NZ, and actually Richie Neckwater remembers that. He was filming on his VHS. Mate, racing, just personally on the racing note, we won't get into teams yet. What's it been like for you? Because you've gone through many cars. You've had some bloody good cars. I remember Rotorua. I'm pretty sure you had the hot rod. Was that the Dennis Andressen thing back in the day? That thing was just wicked on wheels. Hell on wheels. The hot rod from hell.
Yeah, it was a bit of a beast of a car. That it sort of wasn't huge horsepower, but it's still a car that sort of, I remember it used to throw me back in the seat. It was pretty cool to drive. When we first got it, we took it to, I think it was when the ITM series going. We went down to, I did a practice at Huntley in it. Thought, this is pretty cool. And shot down to Palmerston North for, I think it was the opening night, and it was the that part of the ITM series was 25 cars, and I won the night, and I was like, holy shit, this is all right. And, went to Napier the next night. It was a long weekend. It might have been Labour weekend or something like that. And then dropped the frost plug at Napier and cooked it and buggered one of the heads. So it was sort of, we were out for a few weeks. So it was sort of a good start and a bad start all in one.
Yeah, hell of a car, actually. A bloody good car. And there's some good photos of that being shared around and everything like that as well. And how's achievements been for you on the individual driver? You've competed at so many events, mate. I think you just about been to nearly every bloody track in the country, but you're always up there at the pointy end.
Yeah, I don't have any luck coming to sort of the New Zealands, and I've not done a lot of the New Zealand events, but the ones I have done are, not the best. But on the regional stuff, on the smaller meetings, and that was sort of, done real well on that. Got a shed full of trophies. So, but not a lot of luck on the big scene. I won the New Zealand Grand Prix and I got second in that.
That's right.
And sort of been, it's. I've done well out of it. Obviously, you've got recognition. I've been overseas. I've done a World Champs 4 times. So it's pretty cool. And the old England trip. So,
Right. Right, good on you. It's pretty impressive, actually, because a lot of people look at the overseas, and I want to talk about the England stuff, because some of these guys, and we've had the Poms come over and do the same thing and race with you guys. And what's it like? Get us into the frame of that sense of mind when they go to England and racing a different car. It's just about bloody sprint car with solid rails on it. And
Tractors
maybe
with grunt. That's what I sort of reckon they are.
yeah, yeah. What's that like? Tell us what's it like, going over there and kind of getting used to it. And did you do the tarmac and the shale stuff? Tell
Yeah.
us all about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So the first year I went was 2003. Did about 7 meetings, I think. First meeting I did was at Kings Lynn. Actually
Yes.
got driver of the night. I qualified in my heat, which puts you into the final, and I finished 9th in the final for the night. So that was quite cool. I got driver of the week in the UK Motor News, and that was all cool. And then
Okay.
we did a couple of meetings. We did the world final at Coventry. I actually finished 9th in that as well in the world final. I was like, what's that? 25, 30 cars, 25 lap race. So it's pretty full on. But yeah, you get chucked in the deep end. The car I drove was Chris Broxop's car, and I think the first time that I drove it, I sort of couldn't touch the floor and struggled to reach the steering wheel. Just so my brother, my brother was over there, so he had a housing development nearby, so we shot around there and stole some timber and packed the floor out, and we got my feet higher in the pedals, and we remounted the seat forward, and and I actually went back in 2004 and used the same blocks of wood and the same seat mounts, and they were all hanging up on the wall there, ready to go. But we did my introduction was to tarmac racing was probably the last weekend I was there in 03. Okay. And we were actually late. We got lost going to Northampton, and the car was on the track idling, and I literally jumped the fence, didn't put all my gear on in the car, round to the start line, flag dropped, and we got cleaned out pretty early in the piece.
Mate, those are good memories you can remember, and you will remember for some time. You mentioned the word 9 quite a bit there in that little chat over there, somewhere ninth. Yeah. Wait, before the question pops up, it may have popped up in the comments. Your number, 9 or 19, how did that all come about? Someone's going to ask it, so I thought I'll get in there now while you mentioned a couple of 9s.
Just back, like I said, it was a family-owned car. I didn't really come how we got onto. We chose 9, but everywhere we went back then, there was quite a few 9s, so we keep having a whack of 1 in front of it. So we just changed to 19 and then stuck with that. And then, it's only really been us and Malcolm Nartwai for a lot of years. And we were, in the early days, we were at opposite ends of the country, so it didn't matter, There's been a couple of other guys along the way, but obviously I changed my number through the years. And then sort of when you come back to Bay Park, and I was thinking, I won't be doing this forever, and I just stuff it. I'm going back to my 19, and then I just stuck with it.
Awesome, mate. And how are things going at the Bay Park currently at the moment? I know Rodney Wood's been sorting that track out issue there, and obviously the feedback has seems to be promising in all classes. Seems to be nothing coming back that's horrible or in any sense, because, previously there was a whole lot of negativity about the whole place and how the track was, mainly the track from the driver's point of views and maybe the fans. What's it been like racing there since Rodney's taken over?
We've only done 1 meeting there on the new track service. I actually like the old stuff because it was, it was a bit of a bitch of a track, but I've done many laps around Bay Park, so I knew how to get around the rough stuff and the wet stuff, and give me an edge. Whereas we raced there the other week, and we struggled a little bit on it. We still did all right. We finished up second for the night, but the track's definitely a lot better. It's for why I think for our Superstock class, it's leveled us out. Everyone's competitive. But you can see the few meetings I've had there now. I think they've done 4 or 5 meetings on the new track service, and everyone's happy. I know Rodney and his team have tried different things every week so be cool to see what track we're going to get this weekend.
Yeah, no, exactly. We'll see how things will go. Look, just keep those questions coming and everyone will go through these questions. Dave Thomas, who I made mention earlier on, was talking about the Teams Classic. I remember going to those at Vegas and watching those. Those were the good times. Chris Bailey, Chris56, thank you for all those years of racing, Kerry, especially in teams. You're a legend. And we're going to talk teams very soon. You're talking about... Scott Huttingbow made mention 19B, so we'll cover through all of this. You've had 19B. Actually, we talked about the KM and the MR, a B, as well as the H, Huntley, and a B.
Yeah, the B was just when I did the race that North Island selection team at the Teams Classic. I raced with Steve Jude.
Yeah.
And we become very good mates. And obviously that was in January. Come February, they were short on cars. Steve said, "Hey, come race for us at Palmy," and that was my first Palmy Teams event, and I just tucked a B on for the weekend.
Awesome. Is it Joel? Have I got this right? Loy, you know Joel Loy? He says, "Hi, cousin."
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Have I got their name right, the surname?
Yeah.
Ford boys are here, Kerry. Dirt Nut, Dirt Nut?
Yeah.
Warren Fraser says, "Evening, gentlemen. Madu Goodley, evening team, and g'day, legend." They're all calling you a legend, mate. Bevan Giltrap, evening, guys. Good to have you guys all on board, and ladies watching the show as well. And it's good to have Kerry on. Earlier on in the show, we caught up with Craig Booker. He does the commentary on our online series. Thanks to Garage 16 Super Saloon series. That's every Sunday build up at 8 o'clock, and we go live at 8:30. So live right through the whole build up in the racing. Good to catch up with the team. Vince and Aaron from Garage 16, who acquired the New Zealand Dirt Track magazine, which is no secret now. Everyone sees it all over social media. And Aaron will be racing as modified up there in Auckland. So if you're up that way, get out there and catch up with the boys. Good bunch of guys. And they help us out here at Cockpit, but also helped out just a little while ago with the Give a Little page. Mate, teams, everyone's asking teams questions. My phone's going nuts. Everyone wants to know about teams. You've got the records. We know that. I've had a look through this bloody book. Your name's mentioned here, there, everywhere. You were inducted in that. Into the 21. What haven't you done in teams, basically? When did teams start for you? Literally, when did it start?
Like we spoke about before, it'd been 97.
Yeah.
Rotary Teams Classic. And then obviously jumped in the Hawke's Bay team for Palmy. And then we must have raced for Hawke's Bay for Auckland as well, because pretty much I've done Auckland teams all the way through, bar I think I missed one. One year they didn't have it. One year I was injured from Palmy, and another year I had a wedding. So you're pretty much, I think I'm at 22 events at Auckland as well.
26th this coming August. This coming Anzac Day.
Yeah.
So we're looking forward to that. Your T-shirt pretty well gave that all away at the previous team's event, the 25-year celebration. And you said you've had a couple of little injuries. You did a wedding thing. So before someone's asked, mate, I asked you this last night, you haven't been knocked out at teams?
No.
Yeah.
No. I think I might have seen stars, but hard to say, But
when the car was upside down in Auckland, that way,
that was all right. That was a good hit, but it didn't hurt.
Oh, me and Craig Booker were on before. Actually, you and Jordan there kind of got caught up at Palmy right there in front of us, actually. But, when you hop out of the car, you're still mates. So, make sure everyone's all good.
Yeah.
Teams, you've raced for so many teams over the years you've been doing this, whether it be at Huntley, the Mount Team, Roaders, the list just goes on. You love teams.
Yeah, it's a buzz, eh? It's a buzz, and you don't sort of, I can jump on the car for a normal individual race and, pretty blasé about it, and, it's hammer down and you do your thing. But teams, I find you sort of, I these days I sort of sit in there and I try to wind myself up, anyone whoever's parked beside me or in front of me is getting a mouthful before the race. But it's just to try and wind myself up and get into the thing, Otherwise I think I'm a bit lethargic. So I just sort of chuck a bit of abuse around the cab, and luckily no one hears me with a helmet on, and we're good to go.
So you reckon you kind of mellowed out a bit in the latter years of teams racing? I'm guessing back in '97, you didn't know what was going to go on. You're just going to get out there and smash shit up, basically, and do what you could do. And then as the years progress on, because that's a long time, and you're still doing it today, because in a couple of weeks, you're still doing it. Have you think you've either got a bit softer or you're eased off, or has that experience that you've had for many years come to the forefront and keep you at the top end of it?
Yeah, I think it's probably the experience.
Yeah.
One thing that does play on my mind a little bit is whether it's just me thinking about it or it's just, I don't know, but it's because I've been doing it for so long and I've done pretty well at it, but it's the expectation from everybody else.
Yeah.
And you're like, you don't want to have a shit or a meeting, but you know, you just go out there and give it your all every time. And sometimes I like think, well, I didn't do fuck all, but yeah, you come in and everyone says, oh, wicked, you know, and they're shaking your hand, patting you on your back, saying, oh, I must have done something pretty cool.
Yeah. And as soon as you do something wrong or you miss something or you miss something, make you hear all about it.
Yeah.
And, you know, the cars you've had over the years gone by in teams, tell us a bit about that. You know, is some you prepared to race at teams or you're pretty well okay with every single car you've taken to the track? Any that stand out for you as a team's car that's been a bit stronger or really done the job for you?
Oh, that flat chassis that I had for the first 4 years, well, of teams racing anyway. That was pretty hard to stop that thing. That was pretty cool. And then we went on to the hot rod. Had that for 6 years. That was just a cool car as well. Obviously, you know, it could be stopped, but you just had to get the right hit, and we do fairly good maintenance in the shed. It's a lot of time in the shed. So that sort of got me up to 06. 06, I sort of, the hot rod got sold and I was actually out of cars at the moment. So, you know, I think I did 07 for Kiki. I did it in a standard stock, and Bradford in standard stock.
That's right.
And then that's when I bought a car, or was driving full Redlands car. So that we had that chassis at Chevy for a while, and that got us through probably another 4 years. And then when that deal ended up with Phil, I bought another chassis from Pahiatua, in the old Palmy car, and then just ran that old girl. Was probably going backwards in the racing scene. I went backwards in a bit, but I was paying for it all out of my own pocket then. You know, I didn't have anyone behind me. And then I bought the Anstey car.
Yes.
Got that a good deal off Dave, and we built that up and had some good years with that and some good results. Sold that because I needed to do a renovation on the house. So sold that, and then dragged the other car out of the shed and raced that. Just dawdled along a bit longer with that one, and then sold that, and then did another deal with the guy with the car I've got now, the McMurdo chassis. Basically, I owned the engine, and basically I owned the engine bay, and he owned the chassis, which I've since a couple of years ago I bought him out. So yeah, we've had some good cars along the way. Yeah,
you've had some good cars. I remember your mate Ross Ashby, I think, gave you a bit of a turn in a tank somewhere on one of those meetings.
We raced the weekend before, and it was the car I owned myself, the one I got from Palmy, and we shit a diff. We were just having issues with the diff, and we didn't want to risk it. So Horse said, "No, jump in my car," and we didn't quite fit in there properly. We sort of probably rushed things a bit, and I got cleaned out a bit in that. Ethan down at Palmy got me a couple of good times, a couple of good photos out of that one. But we just sort of a couple of years through there, we did what we had to do just to make it, you know.
Good on you. And you've also been on the podium. Look, we can't go by without the years at Bay Park. Busters have been championships, and won those championships in the early 2000s, you know, and of recent as well, mate. It's just that legacy the Busters had. When you think of the old drivers back in the day, their orange and red chassis, we're going right back to your Dutchies, and like you see, Craig Pearce as well. There's so many there, the Dickies, the Carlisles, the list just goes on. But to follow that legacy through with the late Clark Proctor, Andy Gudgeon, there's just so many of them. Laszlo, there's heaps of them. But to follow the Busters legacy, mate, you must be proud of the Busters team.
No, it's a cool team to be associated with, and for a lot of years, like we come back with the Busters pretty strong with the Pollocks, Todd and Pollock backing, and when did we come back? 13. We come back 13, 14. And basically we got the 2015, and there was only me. There was no one else, and and Pollux had pulled back out then, and I thought, well, if we go with that colour, it's going to get called, the Pollux are going to get associated, and I'd pulled out, and I thought, well, the Bay Park team has always been Bay Park drivers.
Yes.
In 2015, it was just me, so wrangled some guys together. The old sign rider Lee Porter, we come up with the idea, the Bay Park Brawlers.
Yeah, Brawlers, yes.
We put that together for 15, and we managed third with that. We just about pulled that one off. But
Mike Mack, he was in that team. Yeah.
So and then just through the lot of years there, we just kept the busters going. I did a lot of work behind the scenes to make it all happen, but we got there, and then Pollux more recently jumped back on board, and you were away again, and the club's got a few cars behind us, and we're back doing it again.
Awesome. You cannot do without the huge investment and the support of those that makes teams happen, let alone your sponsors that make your racing happen as well, week in and week out, whenever you get and hit the dirt. What you'll notice also scrolling along the top too is actually Kerry's sponsors that are on the screen on the stream. So thank you to all of them. Dave Shaw, thank you, Dave, for watching the show. You just shared it to the Petrol Fumes page. Hopefully we'll catch you in a few weeks, Dave, down at the Palmy teams. Jill, Kerry, need to show those cups on Auntie Cheryl's wall.
Oh, trophies.
You got a whole lot of trophies and cups, eh?
Yeah, they're out in the shed in the man cave, but Wi-Fi is crap out there, so I better stay here in the kitchen.
Yeah, totally. Actually, Dave Thomas made mention your 9, your 19. You also had the 119. I'm guessing because someone else might have been at an event for the 19, you had to put another one in front, eh?
Yeah, that was sort of when the 3-digit thing come around. Yeah. And there was a couple of 19s in, so we took over you applied for the number, we took that over, and I ran that for a few years. And then when I got tied up with Phil Redland, Brad Redland was running number 5, and Phil wanted me to run 6. So I did that, and then Lance Aldridge come through into Superstocks, and he asked me whether he could use the 119, even though under SNZ it was my number, and I said, yeah, go for it. So,
Cool, bro, cool. Corbin Burke, thanks for your question here, Corbin. What other class would you race? Actually, before I get to that one, sorry, Kerry, what other classes have you raced?
Yeah, we talked about this yesterday, didn't we?
Yeah.
So obviously over the years I've driven several stock cars for a lot of people, just to give it a go or help them set them up and that. So about that period, that 07, I raced one of the Fredrickson cars. They had 2 cars at the time, so I raced one of their cars quite successfully out of Bay Park. Me and Scott sort of were pitching all the podiums there for a while. And then I've driven just several different stock cars. I've done a bit of stock car teams racing with the Bay Park Bulldogs. Drove Glenn Drabble's stock car early in the days, in late 90s, had a couple of skids in that. About 06, I think I blew my engine up early. Shot all the way down to the North Islands, I think it was in Wellington. Went all the way down there by myself. No crew, anything. Blew the engine up that night, drove home that night, but gutted. And then, that was a sort of, what was that? Probably March, early March. So I was like, well, that's me for the season. There's no engine. So I jumped into mate Des Drabble's street stock and did a handful of meetings in his car at Rotorua and Kiki and that, and actually placed in the Easter Piers at Rotorua and stuff. And had a mate did a sprint car, did the Bay of Plenty Champs in a sprint car in 2015.
Holy hell.
Sorry, I'll just get rid of something that's come up on the screen.
2015,
there was 15 cars. I had to start off the back all night because it was a title. I was very happy with that because I didn't want to put the ball. And I just sort of ran the pole line all night, passed a few cars in the first race, passed a few more in the second race. In the feature, 25 lap feature, finished 10th.
Wow.
Yeah. So
no bumpers, couldn't bump them out of the way. You couldn't do what you would be so used to. You just had to put the foot down, and mate, the adrenaline, the speed rush on that would have been just unreal.
Yeah, it was cool. When I get a bit, get out close to the wall, the dollar signs would flash in front of my eyes, so I get back down the floor.
Oh, I love it. So the question was at the start there from Corbin is, what other class would you race?
Well, actually, I've driven a super saloon too. I've driven Ross East's super saloon at
Oh,
Paddy.
yes, yeah.
That was pretty cool. Yeah, I wouldn't mind giving super saloons a go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, hey, if Malcolm Nata and a few of the other boys, can do it and do it quite successfully as well, maybe one day, my friend. Shane Hawkins, Kerry, you and Jay Huggies, Holtham, Huggies, Huggies.
Unfortunately, I do, yes.
He reckoned he'd smoke you. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, when he was a young fella hanging around at work back in the day when he worked at Herb's Vehicle Repairs, I used to tip him upside down, little fella, and put him in sawdust drums, him and his brother.
Yeah.
And, so, yeah, he was lippy back then. He's still lippy now, but I don't know about him on the track. I wonder what he's doing out there sometimes.
No, you do, mate. He's good when he's on. When he's not, mate, he's just, we'll leave it at that.
Yeah.
Matt J says, Kerry's not only a legend, but a bloody good guy. Lucky enough to meet and talk to him at teams in Auckland.
Yes.
And he's a solid Busters fan now. So you've turned him around and loves the Busters. Thanks, Matt. That's a great comment. Terry Smith, legend Kerry. Hope the helmet got more years in it yet, mate. Got more years in your helmet? Of course you have.
Well, probably overdue a helmet. Actually, I've had it a fair while. Get another
there you go. Got a helmet Kerry needs on, mate. Might be able to do something there. We'll see what happens. Jason Coley, Billy's son, he races with us online. Who would be Kerry's team if he could pick anyone to have in his team? Ooh, you might have to think about that one, mate. That's a real good bloody question. You don't want to upset some of your mates that you've made over the years. That's a real good question. Dan Neville, what about that time you got parked vertically in a Superstock at Teams Nationals? We'll just touch on that briefly. Hey, just perfectly vertically.
Yeah. The old aerofoil was just holding it up there in the breather, my breather fitting for my diff. That was between that and aerofoil, the only two things that were holding the car up.
That's a real good question around what Jay Coley asked, mate, around the team, your team, We'll get to that because you're the man that's got the record for the team's events at Palmy. And, I'll give you time to think about it because that is a real good question. Might be a bit touchy when he releases some of the names, but, we're just a show. We're here to have fun and we're here to find out a bit about the man who joins us now, Kerry Remnant, how he got started and what keeps him going. And something I want to talk to you, Kerry, about. It's not just you, mate. There are people who have been behind the scenes. Let's get behind the scenes. There's these people, your mum, your dad, your family, the crew, the people who put in the endless hours. You get all the credit when you're out on the track and doing what you do good. But there's all these people who stuck there in the pits, still have to pay their way. Some of them, some don't, some get looked after. But, you got to recognize these people who do the endless hours, mate,
Yeah. I've had a lot of help over the years, a lot of friends. Sort of early in the piece, it was obviously my parents and Danny O'Sullivan. We did a lot of racing, and then, back in the day, it was my mate Richard used to help me crew all the time, and then sort of he had family and everything come along, so he moved along, and then he had mate Steve, mate Simon, who unfortunately got killed in an accident when he was still crewing for me. So, but and then obviously I had obviously Mum's been there the whole time. And my brothers and that helped out, my sister and all that. And then Turk, Tony Malges helped me. He crewed for me for like 13, 14 years, right through the thing. And then more of late, obviously I've got Ricky Barrett and Aaron Moore. Two good guys. We've a pretty good thing going, just the three of us now on the car. And obviously there's my partner Paula behind the scenes that puts up all my shit and the lack of money going towards everything else because it all disappears in the race car. But and just like I said, my mum, she's getting on a bit now, but I keep her busy during the week, fully little car up with wheels and tires and send her around doing my chores.
Yeah, no, that's all, mate. Family's so important, and that sense of what makes most of these race drivers click. And the families, of course, catch with other family members of drivers and so forth. It's just one big, massive network of people who have the love and the heart for what their kids are doing, whether it's their sons or their daughters or Gil's right in there and amongst it all as well, and it's good to see them come on through. So yeah, it's good to acknowledge all of that. And like Gal said here, Helen, your dad, mate, will be so proud of you, Kerry.
Yeah. Yeah, sort of my parents separated early in the piece, and Dad still was behind the scenes, and he actually about 2006 he actually started to get a little bit more involved again, and it wasn't long after that he passed away, so it was a bit of a shame, but he was there keeping an eye on what was happening.
Rodney Malgers makes mention the hit from Scott rung a couple of bells, Kerry?
Yeah. Oh, Rodney done a lot of years crewing with me too.
Yeah.
But yeah, the year down there we rolled together. I think Scotty came off worse than I did. I was sitting there and then trying to flat tires trying to start it, but the carburetor was hanging off the motor, so it wasn't going to start.
Yeah. There seems to be one of those video clips, and it's all over the YouTube with some of the hits of the greatest hits of teens racing. You've had a fair few of those, mate. Everyone remembers all those good hits and everything like that. It seems to be what brings the crowd, and the crowd kind of gets into it because you've raced teens for many years,
Yes.
and sometimes these points things really make a difference. You could go really good all night of recent years, but you just don't get the points. I remember the Busters just missed out narrowly. That must just gut you, because it's a different racing now on that Friday night.
Yeah. I
Or
think
Saturday night, the first night.
Go back a few, probably 4 years, and I think we won every race and still didn't go through.
Yeah.
But then there's the races you do win on the track, and then it gets taken off you in the referee's box for something silly, and they're not always right, but unfortunately they think they are, and that's what stands. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on behind the scenes that the crowd don't see and sort of take on board. It does it really kicks you in the gut sometimes.
Yeah, totally, mate. You do all the work and all your crew down there ready, and the anticipation of all the fans. Let's talk about the fans and Palmy in particular, because that all starts with the scrutineering down at the square.
Yeah.
How massive is that for the likes of yourself as a driver, the buzz of that? You arrive up in your team, all the crowd sitting there waiting, and every crowd's waiting for their favourite team to rock up. You park up, you hop out of your vehicles, your tow vehicles, and before you know it, you're bombarded by all your supporters, and you got to get things sorted, get the car off the trailer, out of the truck or out of the bus or whatever. Then you got to get down and get all scrutineered and everything. How big is that scrutineering? How buzz? It's a buzz, eh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. You sort of just head down, ass up, just worrying about what you got to do, and get through scrutineering and that, and you still get people talking to you along the way. But I tend to just get the scrutineering out of the way. I do my own thing a little bit. It's like I don't go and talk to a lot of people. I acknowledge everybody, but I just stick to myself a little bit. I don't mind talking to people, but just when I'm racing, I just sort of do my own thing a little bit. Not a big talker at the track, but But
you're there to do a job, mate. You're there to do what the fans want you to do and hopefully win their title and bring it home. And the focus is on the job at hand, even though it's only a couple of days. But it all starts with people arriving the day before, people arriving in days before, building up to the whole event. And you can see it in the crowd when you actually arriving, I'm guessing, driving in the pub. It's like, holy hell, they're already here in town. They're ready to rock and roll. And we haven't even got to the scrutineering.
Yeah, when we used to have an open trailer, the car was on show. Heavy, like just back in the day.
Driving, eh?
Back in the day, we used to leave Tauranga and we used to go via Tokoroa.
Yeah.
And that way to Palmy, and just the amount of people waves and tend to be Waikato Wanderer bloody scarves and flags coming out the windows. But just the amount of recognition you get just driving down there, let alone getting to Palmy, it was always pretty cool.
Yeah, mate. Everyone goes beep, 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 and all this stuff. It's just a big, massive wave of people that turn up to that event in Palm. It's getting bigger and bigger, and we had to do it tough this year. That's why the event has been held off until a couple of weeks in August. Let's talk about that parade, though. It doesn't get bigger than that because once you hit that track, in the recent years, you've had the big Totem Potter truck out there, the big, massive truck and the big horns. Mate, the crowd just erupts when you guys enter onto the out of the pits onto the track. What's that like? You must just buzz out.
Yeah, it's cool. I tend to just, do your wave thing, but I tend to, you spot a lot of people, and it's pretty cool when you see familiar faces. Back in the day, one of my early memories, I don't think it was my first team's event. It might have been like 98, 99, and we were doing cruise around there, and I don't know what happened. Maybe because in the Grand Parade, sometimes you get stopped and you have to wait a while. And the Sheila called me over to the fence and she actually pulled her bra off under her shirt and she gave me her bra. For a lot of years, it was hanging up in the shed, black lacy one. But yeah, it was pretty cool. It was would have been good to catch up with her later on, you know.
As they do. I've seen some of those kind of things back in my early years being at teams. I've done 33 years of Palmy teams, and I've seen it all unfold at the holiday park, you know, if I'll leave it at that. But everyone just gets into, I remember the Kiki Kings had a few girls used to live up the old tops back in the day. And if you go back to the Wellington days, the Wildcats, man, they had the lick skills on there, you know, and they had all got the excitement of everyone that was red block.
You had the water bombing days.
Yeah, everything. Those are the good times, you know, there was good times. But yeah, you know, you're still doing it all these years gone by. We talked a bit about your chassis earlier in the piece as well. You talked about the hot rod, Darren Gray car and everything. Motto Goodley's got a good question. Would you try a spank or tri-rail since you've just about done everything else?
There's been a bit of talk around me grabbing a Rees chassis, but I'm not convinced yet. Basically, I've got to talk to Pete. I'd love to have a go on either Pete's or Ethan's to actually be sure. I've driven the Slater boys up here, the Pollock Crane guys. I've got Luke Myers' old car. I've actually had a skid in that the other week. And yeah, definitely different. Plenty of grunt. But I find they all seem to be set up differently. So I think really if I was ever going to go that direction, I think I'd rather have a skid in Pete's or Ethan's because, you know, they're at the top of their game. I think those would be, either one of those cars would be the one to really convince me to, if I was going to change, you know.
Yeah. No, that's a good point there because I see Pete's car got sold recently to Jake Baker. So maybe the next time Pete rolls on out, then again, Ethan's, who knows, anything could be possible there. So, well, good on you. Your most respected rival. Who's your most respected rival in the years? Let's talk about firstly, just take it to the single racing. Who do you respect the most when you're just out there racing? Everyone.
Yeah, just everyone, you know, everyone's out there racing fair, you know, nothing dirty, just just everyone, because it's an expensive sport. It's a hard sport, you know. Some people have got good financial backing. The rest of us, a lot of us struggle, but we're there doing it. So just everyone out there.
What about respected team? You know, who's been your most respected team over the many, many years you've raced teams? You can break it down over certain areas or certain years you've raced.
Obviously, back in the day was probably like growing up. Obviously, the Wellington Wildcats. That's probably when the Wellington Wildcats and the Rotorua Rebels. You know, back in the early days, they were pretty cool teams. And then more of late, it's just everyone's equal. You know, there's a lot of new over the years I've done it. I put it down into people seem to be around for about 10 years. And there's other people that have stayed longer, but people come and go in a 10-year period, you know. So I've gone through lots of different things, different eras, as I put it. But yeah, it's just I sort of respect everyone, teams equally. But yeah, a couple of people that probably stood out to me, like Tony Mack in the early days was thing. Brendan Higgins, I used to rate him pretty high. Actually had the privilege of taking him out. Probably not many people had that. But it was pretty cool.
All right.
Just those couple of guys, Brendan and Tony Mack.
We're going to talk about, we still got Jay Cody's question for you to select your team. Stick it in the back of your mind. Dirt Nut, I love your work you've done to help raise a bit of awareness around the CF for Charlie. So that's awesome stuff, mate.
We had a bit of a little stepbrother, part of our family a lot of years. He had cystic fibrosis, so I had a lot to do with him. And when he had his lung transplant and all that, he eventually passed away. So when I seen young Charlie come up, he had a Buster's shirt on and cystic fibrosis, and I just thought, shit, I'm going to track this young fella down, which I did. And
awesome, mate.
Just sort of used a bit of my social media background and helped them along the way.
Awesome. Hey, mate, thank you for your time joining us and sharing these kind of nice things you do, you know, because everyone's calling you a legend in the comments. You're great on the track, but also a great man off the track as well. Let's talk about tracks from Bradley Allen. What is your favorite track to race on? What's your favorite track to race at, Kerry?
The ones you do well on. Obviously, Rotorua is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Used to like the old Gisborne, the flat Gisborne.
Yeah.
And then obviously Palmy, because teams you can't beat teams. So I probably only go to Palmy once a year. Even now, I still only go to teams. But you got to rate Palmy pretty well up there as well.
Okay. Bogey track. What's the other side? Let's talk the other side. What's your bogey track?
I used to have one. Now I'd probably say the new Gisborne, because that's a track to get the hang of.
No, that's all good. Hey, earlier in the show, myself and Craig Booker, Mr. Hootenanny, I'll call him all of a sudden, he does our commentary on our live stream. We really touched on a story where one of our members of our Cockpit Online Racing, people know him as Tank, some know him as Mad Clown. He's actually joined in on the show, Brad Wright. He says to you, Kerry, hi, God of Teams. He's called you God of Teams, mate. Brad, we actually made mention and recognize what you're going through. As a community here at Cockpit and others out there, we kind of stick together in these times. We know, and your new wife and your family are doing a bit tough out there. There is a Give a Little page, and you'll see that link scrolling at the bottom of this interview. So out of kindness, and we spoke with Aaron and Vince from Garage 16, and they already kickstarted with a good amount of money to help Brad. So Brad, I know you're watching, mate. Don't type any comments in there and get angry at us. We just think of you as part of our Cockpit family and just want to help you get through the times you're going through. So we just share that. As you just see, the link has popped up. So do give generously and the Give a Little page. You'll see all the information there. So Brad, just thinking of you, my friend. Jay, huggies, mate. Yeah, easy one you reckons. You'll smoke ya. Mike Pugh, see you on Saturday. Can you put up Superstock list for the weekend, please? Yeah, you'll get around to that.
It's on my Facebook page. Just scroll through the last handful of posts and you'll see it.
Jay, Huggy's got to get another word in, mate. Hey, Kerry, have you thought about retirement?
I'm going to retire when he starts.
There you go, Huggies. You got to come back for that, mate. Hey, just with this Palmy thing that's coming up, no square this year. Is the scrutineering going to be at the track, or do you know what's going on there?
It's what I've heard, but I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah. Actually, just touching on Brad Wright just quickly here, even though we spoke about him in the Give a Little thing, this guy loves the Busters, mate. He does sim racing with us. He's got Busters stickers and everything. Cool. He's actually going to paint his chassis, and he's told me this red and the orange colors. He wants a Busters looking chassis, Busters for life. And I actually remember also his good mate Steve Emmett is also Dirt NZ by many out there, created the game that we played over years gone by. He was our first guest on this Cockpit Media Show. They're both Busters for life. Thomas Jr. Huranui. Hey, Chief.
Hey.
Do you rate the team that you guys have selected for teams this year? And would you still full send someone if you had to?
Well, I won't speak about the team this season because we haven't named it yet, but it's still got a couple of old hands in there, and it's got a couple of 2-3 young guys coming through. So it's all about the future with the Busters. You've got to same as me back in the day. Like, there's a lot of guys out there that haven't teams raced that want to give it a go, and you just don't know if you're any good until you actually do it. So if you want to keep, like for us at Bay Park, we want to keep the Busters going. You've got to introduce these new guys. That's what it's about. We're not, like I said earlier, to me, the Bay Park bus has always been about Bay Park cars, when they're available, and at the moment they're available, so we're going to use them.
Awesome.
But yeah, do rate the team. Good young guys, good guys behind the scenes, all good to have a beer with and socialise, and that's what it's about. If you get all get on sweet, then you do your thing on the track,
Yeah, what happens on the track kind of stays on the track, and then once you're off that track, mate, you're all mates at the end of it all, and have a beer, like you say, you're all friends and help each other out. Yes. She's done so much with the Speedway world, and especially through websites of years gone by. We know the track that she's affiliated to and very, very staunch with. Hey, Kerry, what's your most memorable teams race?
I'll probably 03. The one we won, that's what you go down there to win it. Everyone goes there every year to win it, and unfortunately there's only one team that gets to stand on the top ladder. So 03 when we won it, it was pretty cool. Obviously it was a race against Hawke's Bay where Shane Penn was out to get me, and he actually the last hit when he smashed me into the wall and I just went through the flag. It actually it winded me a bit, but it jammed my throttle on full noise. So I pretty much went around straight on the infield, turned the engine off. I was out of the car and I was running to get the flag, and the infield guys grabbed me and said, no, it's still green, and I was already off to get the checkered. But so that's pretty cool.
Actually, let's talk about the track itself, because if I remember rightly, down the grandstand side, sometimes it can get real bright. If I remember, you might have been in a race. I think you might have missed the start. Is it down that
the other side?
The other side, is it? It gets you missed the start one part there.
Yeah, it was only a couple of years ago that with the sun. Because on the grandstand side it's shaded.
Yeah.
And on the other side, we were sitting there. We could see the lights, and we couldn't, because the sun's coming from behind us. We couldn't tell that it had gone green, and it was only until sort of looked at the crowd and they were going go.
Yeah.
Me and David, I think, took off. Meanwhile, Gary Hunter's on the other side in the shade.
That's true.
And next thing you know, he pulled half a lap on us, Yeah. And I sort of, the next thing I did with the officials, I said, hey, mate, guys, while that's early in the night, use the green flag, And, they need to take it. They did it a couple of times and then they stopped doing it, but they need, early in the day when that sun's out forever, for the sake of everybody on that side of the track, they need to drop the flag again as well.
Fair enough. Good point. You reckon they take that on board from someone who's had that many years of team's experience,
You'd like to think so.
yeah, mate. Hey, Chris Bailey's made a mention here as well. 272 up the brother set. Yeah, he's a good young fella that's coming on through. Because, the opportunities, I would guess, at some of these teams event, this one that's coming up in 2 weeks, gives a chance for these clubs to breed the young ones through, get them that feel, because we're so used to the event being held in Waitangi weekend in February. This has given that extra couple of months opportunity. And look at the likes of Huntley earlier in the year. The teams you've done there, everything like that. There's more of it happening, which is good to see. Mike Pugh, I can remember when you raced for Auckland. He's got good memories of the Auckland days.
Yeah. I actually registered up there for a season, and I was going to teams race for them, but that was 2013, and that's when we most of the boys are registered at Rotorua, and the idea come up, let's put the buses back together, and obviously we got the backing in Bay Park, and see obviously the sponsors and that, and I hit up Bruce. I said, "Oh, sorry, mate, but I was going to race for Auckland, but there's an opportunity to put the busters back together." And he was like, "No, go for it." So, and obviously there was it caused a bit of a ruckus over in Rotorua, and they still had the Rebels, we had the busters, and next thing you know, we're up against each other at Palmy. So, but that's so I raced 2013. I was actually registered there, and then I don't know what year it was, 15, 16. I actually teams raced for Auckland. I've done it a couple times now, actually, 15, 16, and then a couple of years ago, I've teams raced for Auckland at the teams nationals.
That rivalry between Busters and Rebels, because you're neighbours, basically. Yeah, you could tell, you could hear it in the crowd, you can even feel it. And I'm guessing when you two teams are sitting there on the grid, because we are going to catch up with some Rebels and have a chat with them, being defending champs. But that rivalry, because like you said, it started from back in the day, being part of the track when Bay Park closed. Man, that intense rivalry at teams of recent, it's just there. It's there. And some of those guys that either race for one another team or each other. That bit of rivalry is always there right at the end, eh?
Yeah. It's not as bad now as it was a few years back, obviously. 13, 14, sort of that era. There was a bit of pressure. There was guys, because everybody left Rotorua and different stuff going on behind the scenes. But obviously now, we're a different Busters team. Rotorua is a whole bunch of young guys coming through and going real well. So, and we are all mates now. So there's nothing going on behind the scenes. But if people want to say there is, it just builds up the hype.
Yeah, builds up the hype again. So, and I've got to say, I want to acknowledge the Rebels too, winning that event, the recent one, because, man, they'll be doing it hard as a team. They've had some good drivers go by over the many years, and to see the caliber of those guys come on through. And for all those staunch Rebel fans that travel down from afar They're there in their
all
droves with
those
their
years.
flags. Yeah, they're there and they would be enjoying it. So, yeah, we got something special coming up as well. Heaps of things. Rodney just says, he had heaps of fun, Rodney, crewing for you, Kerry, over the years. Just want to let you know, heaps of fun. Amron up at Broadhurst, best of luck to you and the Busters for the upcoming team champs, mate. Kerry, appreciate you supporting us at Huntley.
Yeah,
And,
do a few laps at Huntley.
Yeah, one job, one mahi, man. So good, wishing you all the best going forward. Harley Rob, actually caught up with Harley. Yeah, we're going to catch up with the Harley. Who's better, Holtham, Jay, or Kane?
Kane by a long shot.
You knew he was going to say that, Harley. I can even pick it, Harley. Bradley Allen, what is it like to run a 15-something second lap at Bay Park? The last meeting you raced at Bay Park.
Yeah, I looked up my laps to see if it was actually on there, and it was. I don't know if it's 100% correct, but that's that. Like I say, we talked earlier about the track. It's a fast track at the moment, and like I say, the pace is picked up.
Yeah.
And the cars at a level playing field for everyone now. So there's some quick lap times coming out.
Awesome, mate. All right, just these questions that were asked earlier on. Just one quick one from Shane Hawkins. 3 drivers, past or present. Runner, blocker, and all-rounder.
Blocker was obviously my mate, Ross Espy. Can't go past horse blocking.
Okay,
Runner. Probably Tony Mack.
Yep.
And all-rounder.
The guy you took out, Higgy?
Yeah, Brendan. He could do a bit of both. We'll put Brendan in there,
So if I was to say and kind of reiterate what Jay Coley said, picking your team you would select.
Yeah.
Does that kind of summarize that up all in one as well?
Yeah.
Or have you got some other differences you may want to change?
To be honest, I can't go past the Busters team we had, early in the piece, 03, 4, 5, myself, Horse, Rodney, Kyle. We had, I think we were 26, 27 races on the trot. That's a pretty cool record. We all knew what each other was doing out on the track. And when that didn't quite go to plan, everyone could swap roles. There was some cool years back in and great bunch of guys. So, you can have your dream team as such, but for the racing with those guys back in the day, it was pretty cool and all top guys, top drivers, so pretty cool.
I suppose when you take a look at those names and the memories that you've had with the Busters, we've spoken a lot about the Busters over the years. It's kind of what puts you into their status, that people are knowing you to race with the Busters, first and foremost, but they already know that you have raced for other teams over the years. And hence the reason why you talk about records, they're 26 on the trot. It's not just that record. Mate, you've got records in this book that's sitting right by me here on the Teams Champs. What is that like? You've got the all-time most consecutive team appearances. That's just, I don't think anyone actually in this modern era, to be honest with you, Kerry, is going to surpass that.
No, that's good, eh?
Yeah, it is good. I'm thinking you've most surely set the mantle there, and that's it. It's there. That's it. To do what you have done, not to come away with a lot of injuries. You've been very fortunate. You've had some good machinery. You've had the support of your family. You've had the crews to get through to what you've achieved. And I know Murray's Long's name's in there as well, and you surpassed him. But, mate, that is a massive achievement. And I'll be honest now, I don't think anyone's going to go past that.
No, I think before anyone gets close, buddy, Osh will probably kill the sport.
You're right, Moshovely.
Yeah. But no, it's pretty cool. I didn't have that idea back in early in the piece. Wasn't said about setting records, but once I sort of got to that, all 20 years, that's pretty cool. And then I just thought, still the love for doing it. Like I said, it's still a massive buzz, and I'll just continued it, I don't know how much longer I'm going to do it for. I don't like 26 as a number, so we'll do it for a little bit longer anyway. And I don't think my old my pocket can handle 30, but if we win Lotto, we might be in.
All right, mate. Well, everyone's enjoyed those many years that you've entertained people down there in Palm. And the other obvious question is part of teams racing, because you've done it at their track and the Auckland track. I better not forget about the teams nationals. It's a massive event, and everyone that I've spoken to have done teams racing. Sometimes would pick the Auckland teams nationals. It's a hell of a tougher one. That wall is not forgiving.
Yeah.
You go in there, that's it. You're buried in there, and it's first over the line. Do you prefer either? Which one prefers? Which one does Kerry Remnant prefer? You like both, eh? You just love teams racing, eh?
I like both of them. I've had actually Palmy's easier because the wall's a bit more forgiving. You go up it and you think the hits don't hurt as much, but it doesn't matter where or which wall it is, they all hurt. I've actually had more injuries at Palmy, but Auckland is definitely harder and more brutal, but you can't go past Auckland teams. It's sort of, it'll make or break some of the drivers. Are like, shit, I'll never do that again, or the in it, it's like, that's where people pick up their love for it,
Yeah, totally. And if you enter into their corner, someone from the opposition is right down the inside, you're going to get off. You're gone, mate, into their corner. You got an RC car. Do you have an RC car, remote control car or something?
Yeah, I've got a few of them. Like I said, young Kenneth, the stepbrother, had cystic fibrosis. He was right into it, so I just did it with him to support it. So yeah, I've got a few of them out in the man cave. I just haven't got time to do it lately. But yeah, I still go and occasionally catch up with the boys at the Tauranga Club and have a quick watch, and young with Dirt Nut and his boys, Charlie and Henry, they're into it now, and young Charlie's got his car all painted up in the blue 19M colours, so that's pretty cool.
Mate, we've talked about Speedway a lot. You made mention right at the start of this interview, before you got into the dirt oval and racing around and doing laps up and down the country, whether it was solo in the teams. You played a bit of rugby. Is there anything else that Kerry does aside from Speedway? What do you do? What do you do away from Speedway?
Work to pay for Speedway.
Sport-wise,
done a bit of. There's a local hall just down the road. Where I live now, up in Oropi. We've been up here. I'm now own the old family home, but I've been up here for over 40 years. So there's a local hall. As young fellas, we used to do a bit of badminton there.
Cool.
It's good, hard out physical if you get into it, and I like to go and smash people. But other than that, I do twilight cricket with a bunch of mates from school. I'm on a team called the Trojans. This season was our 30th year doing that, so I've actually been doing that longer than I've been doing racing. So I do that every Thursday from about October through to March, April. We just finished. We're actually 20 teams. We actually finished first equal this year. So
awesome.
Bunch of old buggers. We're still up there.
Right, you're still doing it. You're smashing it on the teams and on the track, and you're also doing it at the badminton. Dave Thomas, who's a regular viewer. Dave, a couple of questions here. We'll wrap up the show very soon. Kira, I know you got to get up early for work and that. What's the plan for Teams Nationals 2 weeks after Palmy? Is that right? 2 weeks after Palmy? Holy hell.
Try and get there for a start. I've already taken a week off between Palmy and Auckland because I know it's going to be a quick turnaround. 2 weeks is it's a tough ask because I got good crew and that and good support, but everyone's got to work as well. Everyone's got to make a living. So, like I say, I've taken a week off because I think I'm going to A, need it for recovery for myself, or B, fix the car so we can try and make Auckland,
Yeah, okay. And Cody Turnbridge, when you're racing, you think of the teams, and everyone kind of thinks of these teams. Let's talk about the dominant years of the Panthers, racing against those guys. And then everyone had enough of them and walked around with Smash to P and everything like that. Mate, they were hard to beat back in those 2000s.
Yeah. Good bunch of, like I say, good bunch of drivers that all clicked together. Good gear, good financial support. Having good people say it doesn't affect what you do on the track, but having good financial support does matter because especially when you're like myself, you're on wages and you're going to go out there and you're going to smash your car, you're going to put it online. But when someone else is paying all the bills, it definitely helps. So those Panther boys, obviously they've been looked after for a lot of years. They go out there and they just put everything on the track, and obviously the skill level's right up there, and then a lot of experience.
And the focus really is at the events and trying to do what they've done for that reign when they were dominant. The Giants, when you think of the Giants with the Rees and what they're trying to do and how they've really brought it out, what's it like racing against those guys when with the history of Pete, for an example, then you got young Ethan coming on through, let alone Asher, who's in the bloody Kiki team. You got this Rees name that's buzzing around the whole thing, and it seems to be a formidable name that's left within the teams racing,
Yeah, you got to hit. They hit hard, so if you're going to do anything with them, you got to hit them hard, or you got basically they'll get you first. So if you can't up against those guys, you just got to give it your all.
Yeah, exactly. There's this new generation back when you started 97, this young generation that seem to have that fear as such. And some might have a better wallet in some sense.
Yeah,
and
mum and dad's wallet.
Yeah, exactly. Compared to the wage earner these days. But, you got to give it up and give respect to those who put their bodies, their machinery, sometimes their livelihoods on the line through Speedway in whatever form that may be. We're not just talking Superstock, we're talking about a lot of motorsport, especially in these times that everyone's been through with COVID and so forth and ups and downs that we've had with this. Kerry, mate, I'm going to let you go. It's been an actual pleasure talking to you. I do thank you for taking time out and joining us to be part of the show. Caught up with your mate last week and I said to look, I'm going to chase after Kerry and let's have a chat with you two guys. Legends in your own rights and what you've done and what you've achieved. It's all in a book. Your name's going to be there for so long. The title you have with the team's appearances, I can't see anyone really toppling that, to be honest with you, these days. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm looking forward. We'll catch up trackside down in Palmy in a few weeks. But I do appreciate you taking out your time, my friend. All the best. Safe travels down there. All the horns will be going, beep, 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 beep. Go the Busters and whatnot. But, mate, it's all good, eh? It's all good. Thank you. I do appreciate this.
Yeah, no, thanks a lot. And I just want, late, I just want to, thank my family and my crew and my sponsors for helping make it all possible. And cheers to you guys for getting this sort of stuff out to Joe public, because this is the stuff they want to see behind the scenes,
Yeah, totally, mate. And there's a bit more of this coming up. I'm going to bring Craig Booker back in very soon to wrap up tonight's show. Brad Wright's got the last words, and I'll leave with Brad. Best of luck at the teams. Go the Mighty Busters.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kerry.
Cheers.
Cheers, bro.
Cool.
Thank you. See you later. So there we go, everyone. That's the man you call Legend. He's a role model off the track as well to help out where it is needed, but also when he's on the track, like I say, it's going to be hard to topple 25 straight consecutive teams events. He loves teams. He's like made for teams. He just loves teams, and he can't go by without his Busters. Thank you to everyone who's enjoyed the show for all these wonderful comments right from the start when we caught up with Garage 16 talking about the Dirt Track magazine as such. And Kerry, I'll be catching up with him down at Palmy. Looking forward to that as well. So yeah, can't wait. Dave, thank you, mate. Great show. And there's a special thing coming up next week, but I brought him back in to tell you all about that. Craig Booker, Mr. Hootenanny's back with us. Looking sharp. He's got a nice haircut. Evan, E.T. Just for you, E.T.
Last week, so I better have a haircut and a shave. And,
what's the news, my friend? What's the news?
Okay, so for all the viewers watching, we thank you for tuning in. And with Kerry, we're so happy that we had Kerry on tonight. Awesome guy. But next week, we're going to do a teams build-up week for teams. So we're hoping to have 2 guys from each team on each night of the week. So we'll have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, all the build-up and talk to each team about what they're doing and what their build-up is coming into the teams weekend in Palmy. So if you tune in next week, we've got a few lined up. We're still trying to get more drivers in, but we will have 2 drivers from each team coming to talk to us and talk to you, the fans, about their process and what they go through building up for teams in a couple of weeks' time.
Really definitely. I'm excited, actually. So for those who have been regular viewers, we thank you for tuning in on a Wednesday, 7:30. We will be back on a Wednesday, 7:30. But just tell your mates, we'll put the post up on the Facebook as well. We'll be going live 7:30 Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and see how we get on throughout the week. As Craig mentioned, we're going to do a build-up to the Palmy teams and talk to the drivers. We do have a couple of rebels. Can't go by without talking to them, being the defending champs. So it's been a long time, a very long time.
2 from the All-Stars. What do we got?
Yep.
We've got some from the Rebels. I think Kerry was going to help us get hold of some for the Busters. We got some from Christchurch joining us as well.
Yep.
For the
Glen Eagles. Everyone loves Harley. Everyone loves
Everyone
Harley.
loves Harley, Rob. Yeah. I'm hoping to get a come from Hawke's Bay as well. I'm going to make a phone call tomorrow. I'm going to try and get hold of Bruce Robertson, see if he can help us get some Panthers or some. We're hoping to get some Wanganui. But so if any teams guys are watching but are in the teams, send us a message. We'd love to get you guys on here for our teams build up next week if we aren't already contacting you, because it's going to be great. The fans want to hear from you. They want to see you. They want to get a build up. They're all getting excited about it. It's going to be on, mate.
Yeah, exactly. And if you're sitting there thinking, thank you for all these awesome comments. Yes, awesome. Thank you. That's appreciated. Awesome show, Cockpit Racing. Big week here it is, Dave. Why we're picking this week, because you don't want to touch them on the week building up to teams, because they've got things they've got to get ready before the actual event. They'll be working in their sheds, busting their asses, or basically getting their machines up to top notch so they can entertain all the fans who will be there over Anzac. So look forward to it Monday. Craig's going to be back on Sunday, everyone. We've got another round of the E-Series thanks to Garage 16. The Super Saloons will hit the dirt track. He'll be doing the whole hoot and nanny all night on
try
Sunday.
Not to stuff it up this week.
No, you'll be fine, mate. You'll be all good. So, yeah, it will be a big week next week. I just want to say thank you, Craig, for your time and doing all the work behind the scenes that you do, mate, with the media show. Also online racing, but everything else you've been doing. I do appreciate your kind words for our good friend Brad Wright. Give a little page, please give kindly. The two boys who joined us earlier on from Garage 16, Aaron and Vince, kickstarted that off as well. So appreciate everything. Thanks, Mike. Very good show. Appreciate those words, Mike. To everyone out there, be safe, enjoy yourself. Don't forget to coming up, it's Easter weekend, not far away. And that's Kerry signing off. He's out of here. Easter weekend.
I was going to bring him in and have a quick chat before he left. So when we sign up, so if he hangs on for a couple of minutes,
Okay. Well, that's us, everyone. Take care. Enjoy your Easter eggs. Eat heaps of chocolates. And we'll see you back on Monday. Oh, no, Sunday. Sunday.
And then next week, Monday. Yep.
That's us. See you.
Thanks, team. Here we go. Has he got to get him up the inside? Oh, has he got it? Has he got it? Hold it. Oh, has he got it? A bit of a gappy. I think he'll come home nice and easy now. Look at that. This will be good. Right up the inside. Kids are holding the outside. Dude up the inside. Here we go. Does he hold the line? Dave's not giving up as well. Oh, he's giving himself a bit of a push through there. Looks like he's about to have a go at push. Look at him go. Oh, he's going to get him up the inside. Love it. Hold it up there. Can Devil get it? Oh, he clipped the wall. Oh, woo! Give it. Give it to Hoot Nanny. That car looks sharp, doesn't it, people?